Sanford and Son, 1972 to 1978, was more than just a classic sitcom that brought joy and laughter to millions of viewers. It was an unforgettable milestone in American television history. However, while the show filled audiences with laughter, the private lives of its cast members were often marked by harsh struggles. Some once brilliant stars later faced financial hardships, suffered irreplaceable losses, or even met tragic ends beyond anyone's imagination. The beloved cast endured real-life ups and downs that few could have foreseen. When the cameras stopped rolling, their lives entered a new chapter, one that was not always as bright as the stage lights. Some were struck by sudden health crises, others found themselves entangled in heartbreaking personal tragedies, and some quietly passed away in solitude. Join us as we delve into each of these stories to uncover the fates of the talented individuals who dedicated their lives to entertainment yet could not escape the cruel twists of fate. Did any of them find light after the darkest of days? The answers will be revealed in this program. Redd Foxx, born John Elroy Sanford in 1922, was the undeniable heart and soul of Sanford and Son, embodying the grumpy yet endearing junk dealer Fred G. Sanford across 135 episodes from 1972 to 1977. A comedic pioneer, Foxx revolutionized stand-up with his boundary-pushing, raunchy humor, earning the nickname King of the Party Records for his wildly popular, uncensored comedy albums. Despite his fame and fortune, financial ruin followed him throughout his life due to reckless spending, legal troubles, and mismanagement. He was notoriously generous, often giving money away to friends and strangers, leaving himself vulnerable to financial instability. His personal life was no less tumultuous. He was married 4 times, each marriage ending in heartbreak, infidelity, or acrimonious divorce. His final years were shadowed by relentless IRS debt, which stripped him of his possessions and forced him back to television in the early 90s. In a cruel twist of fate, he suffered a massive heart attack on the set of The Royal Family in 1991. His co-stars, familiar with his comedic antics, initially believed he was joking, until the reality set in. With no money for proper medical care, Foxx died virtually penniless, a tragic ending for a man who had once stood at the pinnacle of comedy. His life was a paradox, one of groundbreaking success and devastating downfall, cementing his legacy as both a comedic genius and a cautionary tale of squandered fortune. Demond Wilson, born on October 13, 1946, became a cultural icon through his role as Lamont Sanford, the long-suffering but devoted son in Sanford and Son, appearing in all 135 episodes from 1972 to 1977. His road to stardom was anything but easy. Growing up in a religious household in Valdosta, Georgia, he discovered a passion for performing at an early age but faced numerous hardships along the way. As a young man, Wilson served in the Vietnam War, an experience that left lasting emotional and psychological scars. When he returned home, he sought solace in acting, making his way to Broadway before breaking into television. Despite his success on Sanford and Son, Wilson struggled behind the scenes, battling drug addiction and a lavish lifestyle that left him financially drained. His personal life was equally turbulent. His marriage to Cicely Johnston, a former model, endured numerous challenges, including financial instability and Wilson's spiritual crisis. At the height of his fame, he shocked Hollywood by turning his back on the entertainment industry, becoming an ordained minister and dedicating his life to preaching. Over the years, he authored several faith-based books, attempting to guide others away from the temptations he once faced. While he occasionally made television appearances, he never fully returned to acting. Now in his late 70s, Wilson lives a reclusive life, reportedly focusing on his ministry work. Though he left Hollywood behind, his role as Lamont Sanford remains his most enduring legacy, forever cementing him as a key figure in classic television history. LaWanda Page, born Alberta Peel in 1920, was the fiery, Bible-wielding Aunt Esther Anderson, a fan-favorite character who appeared in 48 episodes of Sanford and Son. Her sharp tongue and no-nonsense attitude made her Fred Sanford's perfect comedic foil, delivering some of the show's most memorable insults. But behind the booming voice and righteous fury lay a woman who had battled for every inch of success she achieved. Before Hollywood, Page was a struggling single mother working as a fire dancer and comedian in Los Angeles' toughest clubs. Her path to stardom was anything but easy. when she was first cast on Sanford and Son, producers nearly replaced her due to stage fright and inexperience, but Redd Foxx, her childhood friend, fought for her to keep the role. Off-screen, her personal life was riddled with heartbreak and betrayal, with failed relationships and financial hardships shaping her world. Though she gained recognition later in life, it was not without cost. A heavy smoker, Page suffered from severe health issues, including emphysema and diabetes, both of which took a devastating toll on her body. By the early 2000s, her condition had worsened significantly, leading to her passing in 2002 at the age of 81. Though her final years were quiet, her legacy remains anything but. She blazed a trail for black female comedians and left behind a character that fans of classic television still revere. Howard Platt, born on June 5, 1938, played Officer Hoppy Hopkins in Sanford and Son, appearing in 20 episodes from 1972 to 1976. His character, the bumbling but well-meaning police partner of Officer Smitty, provided comic relief with his awkward attempts at slang and cultural understanding. Off-screen, Platt led a multifaceted career, not just as an actor but also as a theater director and playwright. While his professional life seemed steady, his personal life was far less so. A deeply private man, he rarely spoke about his relationships, but those close to him knew of the heartbreak and struggles he endured. Failed romances and personal losses left their mark, though he channeled much of his energy into the arts, directing stage productions well into his later years. Unlike many of his Sanford and Son co-stars, Platt remained active in entertainment for decades, taking on guest roles in shows like MASH*, Barney Miller, and The Rockford Files. Though he eventually stepped away from Hollywood, his legacy lives on through the characters he portrayed and the productions he helped bring to life. Don Bexley, born in 1910, brought warmth and humor to Sanford and Son as Bubba Bexley, the lovable, slightly dim-witted sidekick to Fred Sanford, appearing in 43 episodes from 1972 to 1977. A veteran comedian and actor, Bexley had spent years working the vaudeville and nightclub circuits before finally breaking into television in his 60s. Though he found a loyal audience through his role, true Hollywood stardom remained just out of reach, leaving him to take minor roles in later years, struggling financially. His personal life was equally challenging. Despite his jovial on-screen presence, Bexley suffered from deep loneliness, never quite finding lasting happiness in love. Though he lived to a respectable age, his final years were fraught with health complications and financial struggles. In 1997, he passed away from heart and kidney failure at the age of 87, a quiet ending for a man who once lit up the screen with his infectious laughter. Hal Williams, born on December 14, 1938, brought authority and humor to Sanford and Son as Officer Smitty Smith, appearing in 20 episodes between 1972 and 1977. His character, a calm and professional policeman, often found himself balancing the chaos caused by Fred Sanford's antics. Off-screen, Williams' life was a mix of success and struggles. While he had a steady career in television and film, with roles in 227, Private Benjamin, and countless guest appearances, his personal life was far more complicated. He experienced a tumultuous love life, enduring multiple failed relationships and a troubled marriage that ended in divorce. Despite his professional accomplishments, he faced periods of financial instability, struggling to secure major roles in an industry that often overlooked veteran black actors. In his later years, Williams has largely stayed out of the limelight, making occasional appearances in independent films and fan conventions. Though he never reached A-list status, his contributions to television remain significant, and his portrayal of Smitty continues to resonate with fans of classic sitcoms. Gregory Sierra, born in 1937, was the passionate and sharp-witted Julio Fuentes, Fred Sanford's Puerto Rican neighbor, appearing in 12 episodes from 1972 to 1975. A skilled character actor, Sierra was a familiar face on television, later known for his roles in Barney Miller and Miami Vice. However, despite his professional success, his personal life was a different story. He endured a series of failed relationships, his intensity and dedication to his craft often clashing with personal commitments. Friends described him as a man of deep emotions, often carrying the weight of the roles he played. In his later years, he withdrew from the Hollywood spotlight, battling health problems in relative obscurity. In early 2021, Sierra succumbed to stomach cancer, passing away at the age of 83. His death marked the end of a career filled with powerful performances but a life that often seemed to mirror the struggles of the characters he portrayed. Whitman Mayo, born in 1930, played the affable and somewhat clueless Grady Wilson, appearing in 37 episodes of Sanford and Son from 1973 to 1977. With his slow drawl and endearing absent-mindedness, Grady became an unexpected fan favorite, even earning his own short-lived spin-off series. But behind the gentle persona lay a man who endured his share of hardships. Mayo's early years were shaped by struggle, growing up in poverty and facing racial barriers that limited his opportunities in Hollywood. His romantic life was equally tumultuous. Though married, his relationships were riddled with challenges, and he often expressed regret over the difficulties he faced as a husband and father. Later in life, he transitioned into education, teaching drama at Clark Atlanta University, trying to give younger generations the mentorship he had longed for in his youth. Sadly, in 2001, he suffered a fatal heart attack while in Atlanta, passing away at the age of 70. His death was a quiet end for a man whose comedic presence had left an undeniable mark on classic television. Nathaniel Taylor, born in 1938, portrayed the smooth-talking, street-savvy Rollo Larson in Sanford and Son, appearing in 32 episodes between 1972 and 1977. His character, a flashy dresser with a penchant for trouble, was a sharp contrast to Fred Sanford's old-school values, making him a beloved supporting character. In reality, Taylor's life had its own struggles. Despite his early success on Sanford and Son, he never found consistent work in Hollywood, often taking small roles in lesser-known productions. His personal life was just as unstable. Though he was married and had children, his relationships were marked by tension and estrangement. He faded from the public eye in his later years, spending time mentoring young actors and working behind the scenes in theater. In 2019, tragedy struck when he suffered a massive heart attack, passing away at the age of 80. The man who once brought charm and humor to millions had lived a life largely out of the spotlight, his final years a quiet contrast to the vibrant persona he once embodied on screen. Fritzi Burr, born on May 31, 1924, was a character actress known for her versatility in both television and film. She appeared in Sanford and Son in 10 episodes between 1974 and 1977, playing various roles, including a memorable woman on a plane. Though never a household name, Burr built a steady career with guest roles in numerous sitcoms, including The Jeffersons, Happy Days, and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Despite her ability to bring humor to the screen, her personal life was far from lighthearted. She endured a string of unsuccessful relationships, never quite finding long-term happiness in love. Hollywood's demands weighed heavily on her, and as roles became scarce with age, loneliness crept in. She continued working sporadically into the 1990s before retreating from the public eye. On January 17, 2003, she passed away at the age of 78. While her death was attributed to natural causes, those who knew her well said she battled declining health for years, exacerbated by the isolation that often accompanies an aging performer in Hollywood. Lynn Hamilton, born on April 25, 1930, portrayed Donna Harris, Fred Sanford's gentle yet strong-willed girlfriend, in Sanford and Son, appearing in 22 episodes between 1972 and 1977. A seasoned actress, she had already built a respectable career before joining the cast, having appeared in films and television shows such as The Waltons and Roots, The Next Generations. However, it was her role as Donna that brought her widespread recognition, as she provided a rare sense of warmth and stability in Fred Sanford's otherwise chaotic world. Off-screen, Hamilton's life was filled with both love and sorrow. She was married to Frank Jenkins, a writer, for decades, and their marriage was one of quiet endurance. Unlike many of her Hollywood peers, she managed to avoid the scandals and heartbreaks that often plagued the industry. However, when Jenkins passed away, it left an irreplaceable void in her life. Professionally, Hamilton continued acting well into her later years, taking guest roles in various television shows, but as time went on, opportunities dwindled. Now well into her 90s, she has largely withdrawn from public life, living out her remaining years in privacy. Despite never achieving megastardom, she remains a beloved figure among classic television fans, remembered for her grace and the quiet dignity she brought to her roles. Raymond Allen, born on March 5, 1929, played Uncle Woodrow Woody Anderson, the long-suffering husband of the feisty Aunt Esther, in 9 episodes of Sanford and Son between 1974 and 1977. His character, often caught between his wife's fiery temper and Fred Sanford's sharp tongue, became a fan favorite despite his limited appearances. Outside of the show, Allen had a modest career in television, also playing Ned the Wino in Good Times. Though he had a warm presence on screen, his personal life was filled with struggles. He battled health issues for decades, which ultimately forced him into early retirement. His marriage was marked by difficulties, and he spent much of his later years living in a care facility due to ongoing medical complications. In his final years, he largely disappeared from public life, though his contributions to television were fondly remembered by fans of classic sitcoms. He passed away on August 10, 2020, at the age of 91 due to respiratory illness complications. His life was one of perseverance, having faced hardships both in and out of the industry, yet he remained a beloved figure to those who cherished his comedic performances. Pat Morita, born on June 28, 1932, brought humor and charm to Sanford and Son as Ah Chu, a friendly but often misunderstood Asian American character who appeared in 7 episodes between 1974 and 1976. Though he later gained worldwide fame as Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid franchise, Morita's early life was marked by tremendous hardship. As a child, he was diagnosed with spinal tuberculosis, leaving him bedridden for years. After a miraculous recovery, he and his family were forced into an internment camp during World War II, an experience that left deep emotional scars. His career in Hollywood was groundbreaking for Asian American actors, but behind the scenes, he battled alcoholism and personal demons. His marriages were turbulent. His first marriage to Kathleen Yamachi ended in divorce, and though he later married Evelyn Guerrero, his struggles with addiction placed immense strain on his relationships. As his career declined in his later years, Morita faced financial difficulties, often taking minor roles just to stay afloat. On November 24, 2005, he passed away at the age of 73 due to kidney failure, complicated by his years of heavy drinking. Though his final years were marked by hardship, his legacy as a beloved actor and cultural icon endures. Gome Pitlick, born on November 4, 1932, had a brief but memorable presence in Sanford and Son, portraying Officer Swanee Swanhauser in 6 episodes in 1972. Though his role as the dry, no-nonsense police officer was short-lived, Pitlick left a lasting impact in Hollywood, not just as an actor but as a prolific television director. His directorial work on Barney Miller earned him critical acclaim, and he went on to shape numerous classic sitcoms, including Taxi and Mr. Belvedere. Despite professional success, his personal life was less stable. He married 3 times, and each relationship seemed to crumble under the pressures of Hollywood life. His 3rd marriage to Susan Whittaker lasted until his untimely death, but his earlier divorces had left emotional wounds that never quite healed. In the mid-1990s, Pitlick was diagnosed with lung cancer, a battle he ultimately lost on February 18, 1999, at the age of 66. His contributions to television were immense, yet he remains an often overlooked figure, a man who spent his life bringing stories to the screen while quietly battling his own struggles behind the scenes. What do you think about the lives and deaths of the actors from Sanford and Son, and who do you remember the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to catch the latest videos.